What's up, Bulls Nation? My name is Aiden, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be discussing a Chicago Bulls and Minnesota Timberwolves game reaction. Our last preseason game ends in defeat by a pretty convincing fashion. Now, at the end of the day, look, it's all just preseason. There is not too much to talk about in terms of, I guess, how this could potentially impact the regular season. Just because the Bulls went 1-4 in preseason does not mean they're going to start the season 1-4. Does not mean they're going to start the season awfully or stuff of that nature. We've got to keep those things in mind, but we have to talk about the game itself. And I can't lie to you guys, I was not really impressed with this game whatsoever. So let's discuss it in this video. Before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls, the game against the Timberwolves, your player of the game if you really want to provide one, and everything in between. We lost this game. Again, I'm going to bring up the score. I should really be more prepared for this, shouldn't I? You know, it's pretty embarrassing on my end, but okay. We lost the game 114 to 105, a 9-point defeat in its entirety. The Timberwolves go 4-0 in preseason. They remain undefeated. The Bulls went 1-4 in preseason. Not really too much else to say. And that is our last preseason game. You got to see a little bit of what's to offer for the Chicago Bulls in this time out. We did not have Zach LaVine, and the Timberwolves did not have Karl Anthony Towns. So you're left wondering, I guess, how the Bulls really did in this time out, knowing that two key players for both teams are going to be out. And look, I think where I really struggled the most in this game was the third quarter, in which they didn't bring back Anthony Edwards, who cooked us for that first half. Didn't bring in Rudy Gobert, who had a very good game. And a lot of their players were coming off the bench. And they absolutely dismantled our starting lineup, and that lead extended. That, to me, is a problem. Even in preseason, that to me is a problem. Because as good as the Chicago Bulls have, I guess, changed their style a bit, as good as their style has been, as good as the ball movement has been, as good as the shot selection may have been, as aggressive as some guys may have been today, that third quarter, in my eyes, is just not good enough. When you have a bench versus starter situation and the bench is running away with the game, to which they ended up winning because of their bench, that is very frustrating in my eyes. So I have to take that with a pinch of salt. Of course I do, because it is not the regular season, and that does not mean you're going to see the Timberwolves bench destroy the Chicago Bulls in a regular season game. But it's something to keep an eye on for the Chicago Bulls. That is something I didn't necessarily like. But outside of that, the style of play was actually really good. Again, I like the ball movement. I like when Patrick Williams was aggressive in this time out. He had a strong aggression game, which is good to see. Got a couple of layups, got a couple of dunks in there. It was nice. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed Ayo's 15 points out of nowhere. I enjoyed Vucevic's 20 and 10 night. I enjoyed Kobe White and just how things look really easy for him, even in a poor shooting night. It looks easy for Kobe White right now. I enjoyed these things. I enjoyed how he played without Zach LaVine. We know Zach LaVine there is going to make a big difference. Everybody can really... It's not that hard to decipher. But when Zach LaVine wasn't there, I enjoyed, I guess, how guys stepped up to the plate, and they did, and I have to be proud about that. I enjoyed a little bit of that bench unit as well. Alex Caruso, Javon Carter, Torrey Craig, all these guys bringing energy and defensive intensity. I loved that from those guys, and you started to see some lineups that I thought you'd never see before. Javon Carter and Kobe White coming out there and playing together. The two guys that should be fighting for the starting point guard spot ended up playing together in a little bit of time this time out. Caruso as well, coming in, having to do the job on Anthony Edwards and Patrick Williams as well. Anthony Edwards was incredible in this game, by the way. The mean poster, the three-point shots, the mid-range. My goodness, he's turning into a ridiculous superstar. Fair play to him. He's putting in the hard work, and it's working out for him. I enjoyed Anthony Edwards' game today, technically from a neutral standpoint. As much as I could enjoy it, I did enjoy it. But yeah, and even Rudy Gobert, I enjoyed Rudy Gobert's game. But regardless, you know, I enjoyed the defensive intensity of these lineups, and I really think we can be a better defensive team from last season to this season, and that in itself is a big statement to make, because we were in top 5 on the defensive end last season. But there were a couple of issues I had. As much as I'm saying I believe this team could be good defensively, look at the three-point percentages for the Timberwolves compared to the Bulls. Look at the field goal percentages from the Timberwolves to the Bulls. You see where the problems lie. I like the volume of threes that we're shooting, but I think Timberwolves had over 40% from three, at least up until the fourth quarter. The Bulls had 26% from three. I checked that, I think, right before the fourth quarter happened. And that was the percentages that were shot. That's not good enough. At the end of the day, that was a big difference in the win and the loss. Same with, of course, the field goal percentages. I'm happy that the Bulls climbed to the free throw line in the second half of the game, because the vast majority of those games, we were actually losing those free throw battles. We got to start winning those free throw battles, and we're attacking the paint as much as we do as well. So, a lot to complain about. At the same time, a lot to be happy about. Regardless of the win and the loss in this game, the most important thing is we should now be fully prepared for the regular season. We played 5 preseason games. We have a completely different style of play. People still have to get adjusted to that. We kind of know the rotations now. We know Kobe White's going to be starting in the regular season. We should know this by now. We know Patrick Williams is going to be starting at the beginning of the regular season. He started in this game. He played okay. We should know that by now. We know who's coming off the bench. We know who's going to get key minutes. There's a lot to know. But for those people that are still having their questions, those people that still want to know a little bit more, I'm going to give my own personal opinion of what we learned about preseason in a future video. Maybe the one after this one, where I talk about guys like Patrick Williams and what I think, and Kobe White, and the starting lineup, and who's going to get some surprising minutes off of the bench in the regular season and stuff like that. I will be making a video like that in the future, so stay tuned for that. In terms of the player of the game, I think it's very easy to give it to Nikola Vucevic because he got a 20 and 10 night, and that's exactly who it's going to go to at the end of the day. He was phenomenal in this timeout. But I do want to give a big, maybe not a big, I want to give praise to Patrick Williams, because he didn't have a great shooting night. He missed a lot of his threes. Some of the dunks that he goes for, he has butterfingers. We all know this about Patrick Williams. It slips and slides everywhere, right? But when we are telling him to be more aggressive, and he is aggressive, that has to come with praise. Having bad scoring nights will happen to everybody. Look at DeMar DeRozan. He's not had a terrifically massive, strong, admirable preseason. He's not. He's had some good moments. He's had some bad moments. He himself is adjusting to this style of play. And I have full faith in DeMar DeRozan turning it around. I wouldn't be here saying these things if I didn't. But Patrick Williams has always been criticized for lack of aggression, for not being, I guess, being able to put up shots, not attacking the basket, not taking the game in his own hands. Even though he didn't have a great scoring night, when he is aggressive like this, I will praise Patrick Williams, because that's what we need to see. There will be some nights where he's being that aggressive and everything falls for him. He's making his threes, he's making his mid-ranges, he's attacking the paint, and it's going to work well. He'll get to the line, he'll have his 20-point night, and people will love that game. But that has to be the consistency of his game, the aggression at least. Sure, some nights you're not going to be able to score well. You're telling me Zach LaVine has a great scoring night every single game? There was one game last season, Zach LaVine had 4 points in a game. The entire game. But for the most part, he still played normal minutes, and he still played his normal aggressive self. And for whatever reason, he had a 4-point game. But we know Zach LaVine, and we know how good he is offensively. And again, he shows it every single time afterwards. For Patrick Williams, he'll have off nights, he'll have great nights, but the aggression side of the game has to be the same, and that's where the praise will come for me about him. Now, the big question is, will that happen against OKC? Will that happen in the game after, and the game after, and the game after? It's good to give him praise now in this one game, but that praise will mean nothing if he comes into this next game against OKC and only chucks up 5 shots. That's not good enough. So let's wait and see what ends up happening. Thank you all for watching. I'll end it here. Drop a like and a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.